I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. I don't care. I am not here to say things that sound good because I don't want to step on toes. That's not what I'm here to do. Man, nobody is going to go through hell more than a beautiful woman in a workplace setting. Like, please saddle up, put on your belt, put it as tight as you can. Saddle up, honey, because you are in for a ride. Not only have I experienced, but I have seen the complete destruction that people do to beautiful women in the workplace and how everyone sees it and everyone's aware of it, but no one's saying anything because it's mobbing. Meaning, it's what's understood doesn't need to be said. So everybody understands the assignment. So they like it and they're all in on it. So let's get started. I am just loving the awareness that is going on where as women, as a collective, we are having these conversations that our parents or our mothers, didn't really get to talk about. And that is the mobbing that attractive women will experience in these work settings. Now, remember I told you work settings are a part of the collective. What are the collective? Work settings, religious settings, churches, malls, any place where there's a mass group of people, you are now dealing with the collective. It's a melting pot of different individuals. And when a beautiful woman walks into or works with the collective or the masses, you will deal with bullying and mobbing. So mobbing is a terminology that is used in workplace settings to really just be a representation of bullying in the workplace, creating creating timelines that you will not be able to reach to finish projects, assignment overload, meaning giving the beautiful woman 20 times more the work than everyone else so that she can fail and then they can write her up or get her fired or suspended from work for a couple of days. It's a group effort. It's a team effort. And yes, your boss, manager, and supervisor are also in on it. So let's get into it. Workplace mobbing. Workplace mobbing is a big thing. I have been through this so many times. I'm going to share some of the craziest stories in this video of what people have done to me in the workplace. Grab your popcorn. Let's get going. So workplace mobbing is really just workplace bullying. It's really just a bunch of grown men and grown women acting like teenagers and choosing a specific target, and then the whole work setting is going to turn into high school, okay? Workplaces in corporate America, it's very high schooly. There's not much maturity in those places, in those environments. And if you are a mature person, that's about your business, meaning you go to work, do your work, get paid, and leave, and you take your job like a job and not like social hour, people will dislike you for not engaging in high school behavior, okay? I'm here to help other men and women skip certain things by knowing the realities of life, okay? That's what I'm here for. The reality is, if you are a beautiful, attractive woman and you have a woman as your boss, she will 8 times out of 10 initiate a mobbing ritual on you, okay? Meaning she is going to make it crystal clear that you are the outsider and she is going to get her staff to mob you, okay? So when I was leaving a particularly luxury firm to go to another job, I'll never forget her name, a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful woman, like a true girl's girl. What makes a girl a true girl's girl? Women who come online and who are not afraid to tell you the truth about what other women do. Those are the real girls. Not the women that say all women are nice and wonderful and supportive of each other and jealousy is just an illusion. Those are the fake girls. Real girls are going to tell you the reality of what's going to happen to you amongst the collective of women if you are a beautiful, attractive woman. So this wonderful woman, as I was leaving, I'll never forget that day, as I was leaving, I'm like going out the door. And she's like, hey, she's like, oh, Mel, I got your email. I'm going to miss you. I didn't know you were leaving. I'm like, yes, I'm leaving. She's like, all right, well, let's stay in contact. And I did stay in contact with her because she's like she's a really cool chick. I really liked her. And she's much older than me, but she's like the real deal, like big sis real deal. Like no weird jealousy or envy towards you because you're younger. None of that weird stuff. Like big sis real deal. So she tells me, she's like, oh, well, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to work at so-and-so now. And she's like, oh, okay. Is your new boss a man or a woman? I'm like, oh, it's a woman. She's like, huh? I'm like, yeah, it's a woman. She's like, well, you better go beg for your job back. I'm like, why? She's like, for you to go from a male manager, an old male manager who loves you, who's literally so sad, almost about to cry that you're leaving, with your beauty and your intelligence to go work for a woman with that combination, you're not going to last very long. And I'm like, huh? And mind you, I was 21 at the time. So I don't know. I didn't know back then what I know now. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you saying? She's like, you cannot work for women, Mel. It'll never work out if you do. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I was 21 at the time. She was probably like 41. She was like, I learned that lesson early in my 20s. And that's why I was able to, not have my mental health destroyed when I realized that I was too smart and I guess conventionally attractive to work under a woman because they would always treat me badly. So I took what she said with a grain of salt. I didn't internalize it. I didn't think about it. I remember just leaving. I really didn't think about it because I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, whatever, right? That next job, I experienced mobbing. That was my first experience with aggressive workplace mobbing, where this woman would literally have other colleagues and other employees in the workplace spying on me for her. Meaning, as a collective, they all would clock me, but they wouldn't clock anyone else. Meaning, if I took a 32-minute lunch break instead of a 30-minute lunch break, I would wake up to an email the next morning. But they could go across the street for an hour and go get pizza and have wine downstairs at the bar, and that was cool, right? But if I was 2 minutes over my lunch break, Mel's 2 minutes over her lunch break, big deal. So this workplace mobbing is something that's done to beautiful, pretty women. And if you have a woman as your boss, she may be the one that will initiate the mobbing because she's secretly envious of you. And a lot of times, you guys have to understand, some of these people are so miserable that they will be jealous of you from the time you come in for the interview and purposefully hire you, so that they can have the opportunity to drag you by the hair. That's why they hire you, because they're miserable. So they want someone to come to the workplace to bully. So some examples of workplace mobbing is they will try to throw all of the responsibility on the pretty girl, or they will try to get you to finish certain projects and in a weird, insane amount of time that is not enough to complete the project. So for example, at that job, the new one that I started, on my second day, my boss, she's like, oh, I want to show you something. I'm like, sure. She opens the door to a room and she shows me like a stack of files. I would say it was at least 850 files. And she's like, oh my God, I hate to do this, but I'm going to need you to register all of these. I'm like, huh? I didn't know I was going to be doing this. She's like, I know. It's just, we've been pushing this behind for so long. So it was 850 files that she wanted me to scan individually and assign to particular folders. And then when I asked the other two ladies who were there long before me, how this ended up piling up and if they ever did, they're like, oh, we don't know. She never mentioned that to us. So this whole time, there's a room of 850 files, and all of a sudden, on my second day working here, you want me to do this? And she literally gave me like a 5-day window to get it done. So this is the kind of stuff that happens to beautiful, pretty women in the workplace is, for example, creating timelines for you that they know is absolutely impossible so that you can fail. Okay. It's very isolating. It's like, for example, I have my minor in marketing. And she knows that I'm a creator and I do graphic design and all that stuff. And what she did was she purposefully gave the graphic design assignments to someone who doesn't even do graphic design, while I had to do the filing of that paperwork. And what gets me so upset, I apologize if I get passionate for a second. Let's talk about the girls term for a second. Do you want to know who the real girls are? The real girls are content creators like me and other women who go online and tell you the reality of what women do to each other. Those are girls. The real girls are the women that will tell you if you're attractive, you should try your best to not work under a woman because of the bullying and harassment that you're going to experience. Those are the real girls, are the girls that are going to go online and tell you the reality of what goes on in the community of women, not the women who are going to go online and lie to you and say that women love each other and it's all kumbaya, and if you're beautiful, it doesn't matter. If people don't like you, it has nothing to do with your beauty. It has to do with your attitude and all this stuff that they try to make up when they could just say, she doesn't like you because you're that girl and you look good. And it really starts and ends there, right? It's all about the female gaze. For women, it's about the female gaze. So, the male gaze. So if they feel like a man is going to look at you more than they would look at them, they will dislike you for it. For women, it's all about male attention, the attention of men. It's all about the attention of men for women. So this same lady, when multi-million-dollar developers would walk in, these men, she would purposefully introduce these men to every single woman in the room, but she would never introduce the men to me because it was all about humiliating me, making me feel like an outsider, making me feel like an outcast. And this is the reality of what beautiful, attractive women will have to go through as far as workplace mobbing part 1.